So the systemic grief also, when you think about your own lives, if we had a mother or a father, caregiver sometimes, mother or father, who was very, very sad, right? Who very, very sad, who perhaps had something happen to them at a very early age, where what they carry is extremely heavy and begins to create the ecology in which we are reared, right? Very, very sad. So if my mother is very, very sad and I come across some sadness, I am not so likely to lean into her. Because why? Because I don't want to cause more pain, right? Perhaps other things too. Perhaps I'm afraid or whatever, but mostly because I don't want to cause more pain. I don't want to be a further burden to this caregiver. And so I hold it back. I push it down, right? I am unable, unencouraged to integrate it. It remains sort of a solidity inside me. And then other things touch it off. 1,000 other things touch it off, because there are so many junctures at which we run into sadness, right? One aspect of that. Another aspect of that is if we have this very, very sad caregiver, without that sort of network under us, it influences resilience. So the idea of sort of bouncing back from difficulty, right? We are not so nimble in that way, because resilience is not really a matter of strength. Sometimes people talk about it like, this person is so resilient, like they're so good and so strong. But really, it's about the network that is behind them that said it is safe to feel, it is not safe to feel. There is a home to return to, there is not a home to return to, right? That gave us these very early messages. It's not a matter of being strong or not strong. Resilience has a different quality to it, right? So when we think about what our moments of grief are nested in, we begin to think about the experience of grief as being a journey, right? It's how it's most often talked about. And there is a way in which, I think I actually read this about COVID, but there is a way in which I think this is a good phrase, that when it comes to grief, we are all in the same sea, SEA, same ocean, same body of water, but we are in different boats. We are in different boats. So in my little blurb, I said, I do not know your grief, and you do not know my grief. And that's a period. That's a period. And in a way, there is safety in that. There is safety in that. It's funny, the studies, psychological studies say that when it comes to grief, psychological intervention has very little impact, and in fact can exacerbate grief around particularly violence, PTSD situations, right? So I think this is partly because of this sort of sense of isolation that we have. We appear to be connected. We are in a circle of grieving people. We're in a circle of grieving people. Does not mean we know each other's grief, right? And so the nesting, all of this kind of points to the complexity when we think about complex grief. Again, psychologically, we're usually talking about some sort of comorbidity. in terms of what the mental status of the person is. I'm saying there is always comorbidity in terms of the systemic lens. There is always more than you can see. There is always more filling out the definition than we know.